Welcome back to GMQC at 11. We're back at the Soul Bowl, United Township hosting Galesburg tonight, and it's hopeful that United Township can play their way into the postseason. We're joined now by the head coach of the United Township Panthers, Nick Welch. And Coach, before we start talking about playoff scenarios and all that kind of stuff, I talked to it about BAM, but look around. This is fall in the Midwest and one of the best hidden gems, because I love this stadium too. You're proud of what you got here, aren't you?
Yeah, and it's better when it's full, and we're hoping for that tonight. And a personal goal, selfishly, is to get some November football here. And I think this town and this community is hungry for that, and we've put ourselves in a position where unfortunately some of that's out of our control, but everybody knows that's what we're working for, and that moment's going to come sooner than later. And when that happens, I think it's going to be pretty cool.
Okay.
How much do you remind the players of that part of it? Obviously the community, everybody at the end is going to look at what was the win-loss record, but there's more to it, especially as a coach, communicating with the guys and getting to know the guys, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, this is high school football, and everybody wants to win. Nobody more than the players themselves. And we're probably 4 plays away from sitting here talking about maybe being home and who are we playing, not if we're going to get in. But that's how life shook out, so unfortunately that's that. But we talk about it, and it's kind of a fine line as a coach, because you don't want to add pressure, but at the same time, thinking big picture sometimes can add some motivation. But really, we just need to be motivated on the fact that we've got a tough opponent coming, and we've played some good teams this year, and we've played them close, but the ball hasn't bounced our way. But tonight, let's control what we can control, and then maybe the football gods will take care of us in the next 36 hours.
I've been really impressed because, as adults, I guess I'm an adult, I don't know if that's legit, but you get down on the littlest things. And these are young people, 16, 17, 18-year-old young people, and they've had some tough breaks, and they continue to come back. How proud are you of this team's resilience? Because a lot of teams could have folded up shop, and this could have gone downhill fast. Your guys didn't do that.
No, I mean, really, if you look at it, every game besides one, and even the one, it was 21-0 when we were down in Quincy at half, which was the best performance anyone in the Big Six has done. But we've had to make some comebacks, and they keep fighting, and they keep scratching and clawing and trying to find a way. Sometimes I think our youth helps us because they don't know any better. But at the same time, I'm so proud of them of continuing to get better. Going into the year, we didn't know how we were going to be with so much inexperience, and they've surpassed expectations in a lot of ways, and they continue to show up, and attendance is good, and the commitment level is just as high as it was in November of last year when off-season started, or June of this past summer. So, it's important to them, and they work like that, and, want to take care of business tonight no matter what, because it's our last guaranteed opportunity. But like I said, let's see where the chips may fall.
It seems like they take pride in it. It doesn't matter what happens out here, but they take pride in it. And maybe some of that starts from when you have them doing the community service stuff. They go out in the community and they realize, hey, we're football players and we can make an impact here, not just on the field, but off the field. Is that maybe some of that too?
100%. Football gives you a platform. They're not football players as people. It's something they do, and it's something that gives us a platform. And community service is so important to me, because some of the experiences that I had growing up, that my coaches put us in those positions, and not for the feedback you get from other people, but the feeling you get as an individual it's bigger than yourself. And I think it's had a positive impact on our programs, with fundraising and people coming out to support the program, whether it's in person or following on social media and QC Sportsnet, all the coverage they give us. And it's been really good for our kids, and they hear a lot of positive feedback in the community as well, which matters.
I know I can ask you what has to happen tonight, and you could probably give us a 5-minute answer of all of it. But I don't want to ask you about that. I want to ask you about Galesburg, because all that doesn't matter.
Nope.
If you get. And is that what you're saying, the kids too? Is don't worry about that noise, because they have a job to do here against Galesburg?
Yeah. So really, we just all week control what you can control. You control how you play. You don't control all the other external factors that contribute to tonight. And there's no doubt, Galesburg's running back's the leading rusher in the Western Big Six, and there's some pretty good backs in this league. They're a team that plays really hard. They're big up front, and they've got some really dynamic skill players to surround, the range kid, and we're very well aware of that. And we're going to have our hands full tonight, and the biggest thing is starting fast, and, getting on them early is the goal. but we know they're coming. You know, they're trying to create momentum into their off season, and we're trying to finish our regular season strong and earn an opportunity to potentially, you know, play a Week 10.
Sure.
You had a young team. They've grown up a lot this year. You're going to have a lot coming back. So regardless of what happens, you got to be encouraged for at least next year in the off season and things like that.
Yes. On paper, it's easy to look at and be like, hey, we got a lot coming back, and honestly really pleased with our lower levels. Very successful JV season, very successful freshman season. Some of my assistants who've been around for a long time think this is the first time we've had a winning record at the lower levels, at both lower levels in the last 20 years. So, you know, that doesn't always guarantee success in the future, but based on what I've seen with our kids, I feel confident that we're going to attack this offseason and be relentless in the weight room and getting faster and stronger and continuing to learn the game. But yes, very excited. But most importantly, if this is our seniors' last game on this field, we need to honor them. You know, they've given us everything the last 4 years, and right. I know we're not playing a lot of them. I think 5 are playing pretty significant snaps, and other than that, it's sophomores and juniors. But it's not necessarily the touchdowns and the tackles they've given us, but their time and their commitment and their effort and really showing, you know, someone had to show these young kids the way.
Right.
And it was those seniors, and we really want to honor them tonight.
Before we let you go, off the football field, this is your first football season as a dad. Mm-hmm. And I love when he smiles, because like that's, I think, as much passion as you have for football, you talk about your little one and you smile even more. What's this season been like, you know, knowing that she's watching, not knowing exactly what's going on all the time, but neither do you. So what's this been like with her?
It's been a great challenge. I'm lucky that we've got great support system. First and foremost, my wife is amazing. And she's bared the burden, knowing what goes into it, but being an athlete, I think that matters. And then, you know, my in-laws are a huge help. You know, she goes there during the day when we're at work, and, you know, some of the trips we've had, you know, my wife's had weddings or something going on in the fall. Obviously, I wasn't participating in that, and they've been willing to step up and help out because they know, like, this isn't like just a hobby. It's a part of my profession. But I will say that she's been at every home game, and we haven't lost yet. And when those two, my wife and my daughter, are here, we're undefeated.
And where will they be tonight?
They're going to be here tonight. So I feel good. And, you know, this morning I got to watch. Harper really is intrigued by the movie Sing, and spending half an hour on the couch with her this morning before school, it was the highlight of my day.
Has he singing a little bit today, doesn't it?
Yeah, get a little bouncing going.
No, enough of that.
It's the only thing that gets her to sit still these days. So
he's Nick Welch. We appreciate you as always. We got the score came up tonight, 10-15, 45 minutes of high school football, and our guest griller, the one and only Jordan Delp from Augustana College. A lot to get you tonight. We'll see you coming up on the score. We'll be right back.